And he
Oh,
is
no.
now all over my phone. Oh, yeah, all over my phone because he said, with what's happening right now, Trump's White House may collapse within 30 days. And here he is now. Well, it worked, James. Here you are with everybody asking you about this, which is exactly why you said it. So bravo.
Thank you. You figured it out. Very smart. And the kind of guy took 8 years to get out of undergraduate school to LSU, be the intellectual leader or anything, but okay, I'm the intellectual leader.
Well, it's because you're the only one who's looking at it strategically as opposed to just, reactively. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're thinking about what it means. What do you see in the status quo of Trump's first, first few weeks here that you believe has a promise of opportunity?
Well, very fair question. First, he started out with the lowest approval of any president ever started in the history of Poland. His numbers are going down. I just looked at the numbers. You put up 32% on inflation. Literally every Western democracy government has fell because of inflation. So I place a lot of stock on that. The trend is going the wrong way. But the real thing here, Chris, is the calendar. And what I'm asking Democrats to do is remember, I think it was Harold Macmillan and Harold Wilson said, events, my dear boy, events. So they have to produce a budget by March the 14th. They have to go through reconciliation. They can't not do it. They have to extend the debt limit. And what I am suggesting to Democrats, don't have press conferences, don't yell, don't scream, don't throw your hands in the air. Just let and you learn baseball when you were a kid, just like I did. You were taught to let the ball come to you. Don't charge the ball. Mm-hmm. Let the ball come to you, then throw it. The ball is coming to us. And the other thing that I place a lot of stock in are these organic town halls. These are not being organized by Democratic interest groups. These are not being organized by the DNC. These are just people coming up and saying, we don't like this at all. And you're seeing it in as you point out, very, very smart in Georgia, in Wisconsin, in Oregon. I saw something even in Idaho. When you're starting to lose Idaho, you got some problems. So I think we just have to play possum for a little while, just let them keep coming. And Musk will turn out, if they keep him, will be the greatest generator, let me be very specifically, the greatest generator of Democratic turnout ever, more than Barack Obama. Musk will turn out more Democrats than Obama could. And I understand the gravity of that statement, but if he keeps going, that's what's going to happen.
Why?
Excuse me, Chris?
Why?
I think we're having a sound issue here.
Can you hear me now?
I'm sorry, but we're having a technology glitch in the middle of this.
All right, then let's let James go. If he can't hear me, can you hear me or no?
Well, go ahead. Ask the question again. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I hear you now.
I just asked, why do you think that about Musk?
Well, I was privy to some data that in a very critical state, and the Musk stuff is like nothing I've ever seen in the history of Poland. Like nothing. And we're a month into the game. We're a month into the game. And the guy said, well, he's found $55 billion. We don't know what it is. Of course, he had. The federal budget is $6 trillion. I did the math. USAID is $41 billion. That's 0.14 of 1%. And I'm sorry, USAID is not 100% waste. It's probably very little waste in it. The most efficient government program, maybe the most efficient program in the world, Social Security. It has staggeringly low overhead costs. Are you asking me that many recipients that people falsely get it? Of course that happens. How could it not happen? But if you're looking at $6 trillion and you can't specify $55 billion, you're not off to a very good start, man. I mean, I would have thought out of $6 trillion that 5% of it is wasted. And I would think that would be a very generous number. They hadn't found a 0.2% yet. And these are people with 185 IQs rummaging through the government.
You know, the real opportunity for Democrats is that the place that you have to have the fiscal responsibility, sure, find all the waste, fraud, and abuse you can. Nobody's going to be against that. But it's in the budgeting, as you said. And Trump wants his tax cuts extended, and he does not want to cut what he has to do that. That's what's upsetting the conservatives. But there's an opportunity for Democrats in that also. You will never make a difference in our deficit if you keep spending around $6 trillion. You know, before the pandemic, we were at like 4.5. Now we're at 6.5. You know, there's no reason to get back to close to pre-pandemic levels, but Trump doesn't want to do it. The question is, since when do Democrats want to be the party of less in the budget?
Well, I think the Democrats have a chance to do that, but you have to understand, the federal government is a giant insurance company that has an army that services debt. So when you say $6 trillion, you take away insurance, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Okay. Then you take defense out because we got to have an army. Then you have to service the debt. So, honestly, I'm sure there is, but no one wants to cut the NIH funding. No one wants to cut food inspectors. No one wants to cut the FAA. No one wants to cut border enforcement.
Go through the military.
Enforcement. Yeah, okay.
Go through the military.
When you start saying it's $6 trillion, once you take away insurance, you take away defense, you take away debt service, and then you talk about essential services, it's not as big as you think. And that's the problem they run against. And I just keep talking about it, and I'll just sit back, and events are coming. The budget is coming, the resolution is coming, the debt ceiling is coming. And you're not going to be able to, and look at these markets. I don't want to say it's, one bad week in the markets mean anything, but it's not encouraging. And, you can come up with every fake number you want, but you can't fool the bond market. That these people are not foolable. They're not going to believe any of that. I promise you.
That's true. I hear where you're coming from, and it'll just be interesting to watch and see if your party could do it. But I was very tickled at how you got everybody talking. I really just wanted you on to congratulate you. I didn't fall for it. I didn't fall. I knew what you were doing, James. Remember, you helped raise me.
Every now and then you got to roll a grenade. But what I'm calling for is tactical patience. Just sit still.
They're not doing a lot of that.
Whites of the eyes, whatever you want to say. I'm arguing for caution. I'm arguing.
I know, but you're
just stay there.
Your party is the party of breathlessness and pearl clutching and hyper-reactionary things. And if you say something that's a little crazy, you're a Nazi and, canceling, I don't know that they'll follow your advice, but it's the right advice. James Carville, thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for your kind words. Absolutely. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.